Latest news on the ongoing criminal investigation of Family First Life and Sean Mikey. If you are in the insurance industry, stay tuned and you will hear information that will probably impact your life. When Jimel of Jacksonville, Florida told me on a recorded telephone line that he was a participant in Family First Life's churning and fraud operation, I knew I had to bring this to the proper authorities. Here are the steps that I took. Number one, I made a great video based on that phone call and uploaded it to YouTube. Number two, informed attorney Chris Wellman of California, who has filed a class action lawsuit against Family First Life claiming lead fraud. Number three, emailed and phone called FTC Federal Trade Commission attorney Susan Barth and pleaded with her to use the federal government's powers to protect America's most vulnerable citizens. FFL received a cease and desist from the FTC in December 2021, which mandates that they stop lying to new insurance agents. Number four, I Googled Florida insurance fraud and discovered that the Bureau of Insurance Fraud is a law enforcement branch of the state government that investigates and prosecutes criminal activity, organized schemes to defraud the public and insurers. It is commanded by a law enforcement major and consists of 127 sworn officers and 26 civilian support staff members. 28 of the Florida law enforcement officers' email and phone numbers were listed online. I sent my last newsletter titled Video Evidence That Should Put FFL CEO in Jail to these 28 officers. Surprisingly, 16 of the 28 emails were opened, supposedly read. In fact, one captain who commands 9 counties opened my email 35 times until now. A long conversation ensued with Lieutenant Z, and I explained to Lieutenant Z the laws on churning in Florida statute. It's a first-degree misdemeanor, an administrative fine of not more than $75,000 and up to 1 year in jail. Surprisingly, Lieutenant Z was not familiar with this law of churning, I suppose because his department deals mostly in apprehending white-collar criminals who rip off insurance companies. Lieutenant Z was kind enough to tell me about a first-degree felony that my description of Family First Life's actions most likely were in violation of. Here it is. The statute for organized scheme to defraud in aggravated white-collar crime. The information that I've mentioned in the previous few minutes are linked in the description, whether it be the cease and desist, my email, the Florida statutes, everything is linked in the description. The statutes to these 2 first-degree felonies are listed in the description. They're also known as the White-Collar Victim Protection Act. Mr. Sean Mikey of Family First Life could be looking at up to 30 years in prison if convicted of the White Collar Victim Protection Act. The following is written in Florida law books. For a felony of the first degree by a term of imprisonment not exceeding 30 years. 30 years in jail is a long time, but it's definitely appropriate when so many people got defrauded by Family First Life. Lieutenant Z tells me that he has viewed many of my videos on the Family First Life Class Action Witness YouTube playlist, also linked in the description below, and I was kind enough to send the lieutenant a large list of Florida insurance agents that shared with me that they were defrauded by Family First Life. Lieutenant Z emails me back after our long conversation, and I will read this verbatim. I have reached out to our partner agency, in parentheses, Division of Agent and Agency Services, Bureau of Investigation, close parentheses, for assistance in obtaining some records that are accessible to them. As I stated yesterday, and after consulting with the 5th Judicial State Attorney's Office, at this point I would be unable to obtain a blanket subpoena for any entities unless there was specific evidence that would corroborate the broad reach of a blanket subpoena. In parentheses, these are subpoenas issued to an entity where you ask for any and all documents pertaining to date ranges, counties, states, etc. Close parentheses. Please do not hesitate to contact me with further information, and I will continue to follow up on my end. Regards, Lieutenant Z. I really don't feel like publicizing the lieutenant's name. I want to give him the best chance to do a good investigation. There are listed 28 law enforcement officers on the Florida Department of Insurance fraud website. There's no need to publish his name, especially since this lieutenant is most likely going to do a good job and end up putting Mr. Sean Mikey behind bars where he deserves to be. There is no doubt in my mind that Family First Life CEO Sean Mikey has violated Florida's White Collar Crime Victim Protection Act and should serve a long prison sentence. Certainly there are countless FFL victims in the other 49 states, and I need your help in informing the proper authorities, while Floridians need to help Lieutenant Z in his investigation. The most efficient way to bring your story to the investigators, prosecutors, and attorneys is to tell me your story. Please contact me to arrange an interview that I will upload to YouTube. A big thumbs up to Mark Cias of Florida, whose YouTube interview now has 7,700 views. Thumbs up to Mark Cias. What Family First Life and their co-conspirators, partners, fellow agent managers are doing is disgusting. I've got a list of 400 people who've personally called me. These are people that called me, and they tell me one after another that they're getting ripped off. Every day I get another phone call, another victim. Bernie Madoff. What did Bernie Madoff do? He ripped off a bunch of investors. From the early 1970s, he grabbed these investors' money, didn't invest it. It was a classic Ponzi scheme. Bernie Madoff developed a reputation of offering way above average return compared to anyone else in the investment advisor marketplace. Word got out that this gentleman had great returns, kept on accumulating more and more investment money. His original investors enjoyed incredible returns. Those original investors, including people very close to Bernie. It was a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is where the new money coming in is paying off the old investors. At the end of the day, there's not enough money in the kitty, and the last investors end up losing. Bernie got caught, ended up getting a couple 100-year prison sentence, died in jail. Within a few years of him being caught, one son committed suicide. His other son died of a disease, I suppose, based on the bodily functions becoming weaker based on the father getting caught. The sons were probably participating to some extent in these crimes, and none of them are alive today. Let's take a guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, just got in the news. He's not in jail yet. Similar situation. He operated a investment exchange house for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is the perfect currency for kidnappers. So imagine someone who wants to invest in the perfect currency for kidnappers. Sam Bankman-Fried figured out, hey, people buy on his exchange and sellers sell on his exchange. It was an exchange, exactly what it is, FTX exchange. Inevitably, a lot of the buyers leave the money in the account as opposed to using his services solely as an exchange. Sam grabbed that cash. When there was a run to withdraw money, thousands of investors were wiped out. There was nothing in it. Sam may describe this as a run on the bank, but his exchange was not a bank. He was not supposed to be doing anything with the money except holding it in an account, waiting for the investor to take it out and put it in an outside wallet or cashing out. Sam Bankman-Fried is a fraudster, similar to Bernie Madoff, targeted rich people. On the other hand, we've got Sean Mikey of Family First Life, who is specifically targeting the poorest Americans. We're talking young people in the early 20s with limited education that are attracted to advertisements online from ZipRecruiter and other places that they'll teach you how to make $250,000 a year. How do I know this? Multiple insurance agents told me this exact story. I saw it with my own eyes. We'll teach you how to earn $250,000 a year. I saw this all over Facebook and LinkedIn before Family First Life got their cease and desist last year from the FTC. You would assume after getting the cease and desist from the FTC, they would stop that advertising line. But no, you could hear my phone call with Brittany, the fraudster recruiter. She says in very certain terms that it's so easy to make huge amounts of money especially since they have an unlimited supply of $11 exclusive leads. Complete rubbish. In my research for this video, I did some phone calls. I called up the place that Family First Life buys their leads. I ended up speaking to a woman named Cheryl of LeadCo, which multiple people have told me, which is where Family First Life buys leads. I do have a tape of the conversation. I have not put it on YouTube yet. If anyone needs it, any attorney, any state investigator, any individual who for whatever reason needs it, I could send it to you. LeadCo tells me that Andrew, founder of Family First Life USA and an Integrity Marketing Group partner, buys 90-day mortgage protection mailer leads from her on a monthly basis for $5. Cheryl tells me that normally they sell those 90-day leads for $7. If you buy quite a few of them, it goes down to $6. I hinted that Family First Life probably gets it for $3. She said, oh, no. I'm assuming that the price is $5 and not $6. Andrew, the founder of Family First Life USA, has been buying leads in this manner from Cheryl for years. He has the entire database going back 8, 9, 10 years. These leads are going into the CRM. When new insurance agents believe they're buying exclusive leads, I definitely wanted to know the cost of the original lead to see if these leads had any expectation of quality. The original lead is $100. That would have to be bought by a professional insurance agent that knows what he's doing. Cheryl tells me that Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach County are available to a new buyer who wants to buy these mortgage protection filled out postcards. $100. The first guy's buying it for $100. For those 3 counties in South Florida, population of 6 million people, one can expect to receive approximately 25 leads per month. Cheryl tells me before COVID came, it was getting closer to 75 leads a month. But right now it's only 25. You extrapolate that throughout the United States, those 3 counties hold 6 million people, a bit less than 2% of the American population, albeit among the fastest growing counties in America. So let's say 1 out of 50 times that, 25 times 50. So we're talking not a lot of leads. When the merger with Integrity Marketing Group was made, it was announced that Family First Life is recruiting 1,000 agents per month. I would imagine if you fast forward before FFL got their cease and desist by the FTC, they were probably up to 3,000 agents a month. Imagine sharing such a minuscule amount of 90-day leads with tens of thousands of insurance agents. Family First Life, first and foremost, is a lead seller, a lead pusher, telling these new insurance agents that they have an unlimited supply of exclusive leads. Let's talk about website. Video at the top of your website is king. NAAIP programmers added 8 videos that are geared to the senior market, videos of older people. We now offer 97 header videos to choose from. In the next week or so, there will be a universal change on all websites that don't have video at the top of the website, at the header of the website. The first template we made, which was template number 6, classic insurance, will not be affected by this because video does not fit at the top. But the other 5 templates, this will affect. You are recommended to review the change, then to see the other 97 video options that are available, hypothetically change it to one of the other videos, or revert it back to the still images that you had previous. Agents should realize that an NAIP website should and can be an incentive-based marketing tool in which you offer websites to business owners, especially building trade professionals. Your business will be incredibly successful if you have a video of yourself at the header of the website. A 15-second video of yourself will certainly cause people to have more confidence in you, and any plumber who sees this immediately will be asking, how do I get this for myself? This is a tough business. If you're not doing everything you can do in a systemic and positive way to build yourself up as a professional, build yourself up as a brand, you're really missing the boat. The number one fraud that Family First Life is doing is systemically bringing in new agents, giving them terrible advice, specifically to defraud these new insurance agents out of a few $1,000s of lead money. I know they're doing it. I know why they're doing it. I know the percentage of these people who succeed, and it's virtually nil. New insurance agent comes into their system. Instead of becoming an expert I'll just mention the 4 bullet points which are needed to have a fighting chance to succeed as an insurance agent. Number 1, be an expert at a product. Be an expert at what you're selling. Complete expert across the board. Be an expert at getting in front of people, which is synonymous with lead generation. Know everything you can on that aspect of the business. That's why the insurance companies are paying you. Be an expert at coming across as a professional person. I suppose that's where NAAIP websites come in. The 4th bullet point is to be good at closing. You don't have to be an expert at closing because you will get better as the months and years go by. New agents that come into the Family First Life system are not reminded or told of these 4 obvious bullet points to succeed in this business. If your goal was to sell these new people leads that don't exist, phony data that they're being told are exclusive leads, you would tell the new agent the most important thing is to buy leads. And it's simply not true. Any insurance agent that would buy leads from a high-tech company that has a huge database of gullible insurance agents right when they get into this business is ridiculous. If one concentrates on those 4 bullet points that I mentioned, you'll have a fighting chance. I do thank you for seeing the entirety of this video. It would be hugely appreciated to give a like. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. It'll cause more people to see this valuable information. It'll cause less people to get defrauded by Family First Life. We're trying to help the investigators and the prosecutors put these people in jail. First thing first is the investigation. Then you've got the prosecution and the jail sentence. Let's get these people in jail because it's sick of how many people are being defrauded. And it is against the law in the state of Florida. 20 people get defrauded. That's a first-degree felony. I suppose in other states it is similar. See you next time.